Good morning students, welcome to your online history classes. Today we are going to learn about from trade to territory. Okay. So students, you know that about how East India Company came here and established their empire. Okay. You know that in 1600 Queen Elizabeth, the ruler of England, gave a charter to the East India Company. Charter is what? Charter is a royal firman. So, Britain Queen Elizabeth, she gave a charter or a firman to the East India Company. And what was there in the charter? That charter granted the company the sole right to trade with the East, and no other English trading group could compete with it in the East. Means there was a sole right on the East. East means in your India. Okay, like that. So in the Eastern countries, only East India Company will be trade. Okay, and no other English company will be compete with the British East India Company. Only one company was there, that was East India Company, and Queen Elizabeth granted sole right to trade with the East countries. Only one country, only one trading company, which was East India Company, have a sole right to trade with the Eastern countries like India and other. Okay. So that sole right, and so that in that time mercantile trading companies made profit mainly by excluding competition. So lack of competition enabled them to buy cheap and sell here. And here in that time there was a mercantile trade. Means they think about their profit only. That is called mercantile. Okay. And in that time when there was no other company to compete with the East India Company, and so that British East India Company make a huge profit. Okay. British East India Company buy goods from the India in a very cheap rate. Okay, and then sell it to the other countries in a high rate, and so that British East India Company profited. Okay. So, but the Royal Charter, you know about that Royal Charter? That Royal Charter could not prevent trading companies from other European nations from entering the Eastern market. According to the British Queen Elizabeth, only British companies could not compete with the East India Company. But what about other countries? Dutch, Portuguese. Okay. So these other countries' company came to India and they started trading with India. Okay, or Eastern countries. So they enter in the Eastern market with other European nations. Okay, other European trading companies enter and they started trading with the Eastern markets. It is important to mention that you know that Vasco da Gama had discovered the sea route to India via the Cape of Good Hope. Okay, Cape of Good Hope. Vasco da Gama discovered India. Okay, first in 1498. Vasco da Gama he discovered sea route, how to reach India, and then after Vasco da Gama he was the Portuguese. Okay, after that Dutch came here and other countries also they came here, they entered in the Indian market. So Vasco da Gama had discovered the sea route to India via the Cape of Good Hope, and he was a Portuguese. So first Portuguese entered in India. Hence before the arrival of British, the Portuguese had already established their presence in the western coast of India. So where in western coast, you know that east, west, north and south. That western coast, okay. So that western coast of the India, Portuguese established their market. Okay, and after that, British came. They had their base in Goa. So Portuguese, they came here, they established their market, okay, and their base market was in the Goa. Then after that, the Dutch began to explore the possibilities of trade in the Indian Ocean by the early 17th century. The French followed in quick succession. So after that, first Portuguese came, then Dutch, French and British also came. Now there, all these European nations trading companies enter in the Indian or Eastern market, and so their competition start between them. So what happened? India produced the why they came here, okay? Because the India produced high qualities of cotton and silk, which had a big market in Europe. Various species from India like pepper, clove, cardamom and cardamom, okay, were also in a great demand in Europe. So Indian species, okay, yeah, that spices, Indian spices, that was very important. You know that masala spices. Okay? So that Indian spices was very great demand in the European market, and all the European companies they interested buying these things, which resulted in a price rise of this item. So they buy this Indian goods in a very cheap rate, okay, especially that spices, okay. Thus the potential profit reduced. What happened? Then that Dutch, French, Portuguese and British entered in an Indian market, and so that there was price hike, okay, and so they lost their profit because there was that profit was shared between them, and so that there it resulted the price rise of this item. Which item? That spices item, okay. Thus the potential profit reduced. Eliminating the real competition was the only way for a trading company. Resulted in fierce battle between the trading companies. And to acquire more profit, they have to eliminate other trading companies. There was war, trading war between Portuguese, Dutch, French and British. Okay, and so that in that trading war, they have to eliminate each other, and they started battle. Okay, a war that is called trade war. Trade was carried on with the arms, and fortification were done to protect the trading ports. And after that, when there was trading war between them, and they want to reveal each other, they want to eliminate each other, and so that they support with the arms, okay, with arms and fortification. Fortification, they make a fort line, that is called fortification. They are done to protect the trading post, and so that they trying to protect their trading. That is about how East India Company came here and how East India Company established here. Okay. But before East India Company, there first Vasco da Gama reached India, okay, discover India, okay, and then first Portuguese, then Dutch, French, and then British also entered in the in the East market, Eastern market or Indian market. So East India Company began trade with the Bengal. The East India Company set up its first factory on the bank of River Hooghly in 1651. So in Bengal in 1651, they started their first factory. Where? In Bengal, near the river Hooghly. River Hooghly, there they started. River Hooghly. On the bank of the river Hooghly, they established their first factory. Okay, and their warehouse was called a factory, and the company's trader were known as the factors. Warehouses were there, and the factory and the company trader, they are called factor. Factor in factory. With the growth in the trade, the company persuaded merchants and traders to settle trade near the factory. And after that, when they earn a huge profit, okay, East India Company set up their first factory on the bank of river Hooghly, where? In Bengal. Okay, and after that, they set up their administration there. The company then persuaded merchants and traders to settle near the factory, and they pressurized them to the merchants and to the traders. They have to settle near that rivers. The company began to build fort around the settlement by 1696, and then from 1696 they start fortification. In 1696, British East India Company started fortification 1696. It is also called Jamindar right over 3 villages within 2 years by briefing the Mughal officer. One of these villages was Calicut. Okay. That Calicut also convinced the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb to grant the company the right to trade duty free, and that you know that in 1707 when Aurangzeb, the powerful Mughal emperor, he was died. Okay. After that, there was no powerful ruler in the Mughal Empire, and so that there was that their local Jamindar starting fighting with each other. Okay, there was no unity. There was a lack of unity because they want to capture power. They want to gain power. Okay, and so that there was a battle between them, dispute between them. Okay, and but some of the company officials carried on private trade on the side without paying the duty. This caused enormous loss of revenue for Bengal. And when here some East India Company settled their trade in the Bengal, okay, but they don't give taxes to the Nawab, and so that this action was anger to the Nawab. How trade lead to battles, and so that this trade leads to battle. Why? Because British refused to pay taxes to the Bengal Nawab, and Bengal Nawab wanted taxes from the trading companies, and this is the reason that it leads battle. Okay, means trade lead to battles. After the death of Aurangzeb in 1707, the Bengal Nawab began to assert their power and autonomy. Murshid Quli Khan, Ali Vardi Khan, and Siraj-ud-Dawla became the Nawab of Bengal in succession. They refused concession to the company. You know that Aurangzeb granted some concession to the British East India Company. But after the death of Aurangzeb, then Bengal Nawab, they refused the concession of British East India Company. Demanded large tributes in the name of company's right to trade. So they denied the company army right to mint coins and stopped it from extending its fortification. Bengal Nawab refused to give any concession to the British East India Company, and they warned that you have to stop mint your coins and you don't extend your fortification. They warned to the British Company, British East India Company, and because British India Company don't want to give taxes to the Bengal Nawab, and Bengal Nawab wanted taxes, and so that was the main dispute. Bengal Nawab ordered to the British East India Company that you have to stop your mint coins. Okay. You can't mint coins without our permission. Then second thing was they warned that you have to stop extending your fortification and you have to pay taxes to us. Okay, so, and this was the main reason that there was a dispute between them, and that led a battle. They denied companies any right to mint coins and stopped it from entering or from extending their fortification. The company, on the other hand, declared that the local official used to make unjust demand. It was ruling the trade, and removal of the duties was necessary for the trade to flourish. But British, they could not. They want more concession. Okay, and Bengal Nawab refused their concession. So that was the main problem with them. The company also wanted to enlarge its settlement and to rebuild its fort so that it could expand trade. So that was the main problem with the Bengal and British. Bengal Nawab refused all the concession with the British East India Company. Then they warned that you have to stop minting coins, you have no right to mint coins. Then they warned that you have to stop your extincting fortification. But in the other hand, British want that for the development of their trade, they want the right of minting coins, they want to extend their fortification, they want more concession in the trade. Okay. So that was thus the conflicts between the Nawab and the company increased during the early 18th century, and so that there was the conflict, and that conflict was increased day by day. Okay. So what was the main conflict between them? About trade concession. Bengal Nawab don't allow them or refuse all the taxes. Okay, they said that you have to pay taxes, but in the other hand, British East India Company don't want to pay taxes. Bengal Nawab warned them to stop. You have no right to mint any coins, and you have no right to extend any fortification. But here, British East India Company wanted mint coins and extend their fortification, and so that there was a conflict between British East India Company and Bengal Nawab. It is for today. Thank you.